So I was looking through some writings recently, and I found a reference to Jesus which I didn't know before. And it comes from, if you remember, I was always talking about how we are really the dregs of the Hebrews who survived the Holocaust, and that there are people beforehand who knew so much more than we do. So I was looking at the work, something called Sod Yesharim, which was written by the Radziner Rebbe from before the war. I believe it was written by Shmuel Shlomo Lehner, who was killed in the Holocaust. But it was, if not him, then one of his predecessors. But part of it survived and came out the other end. Now, you may also remember that I say that it doesn't matter whether the Jews in general recognize that Jesus of Nazareth was Yeshua Sar Hafanim or not. The important thing is that we all know our Messiah is Yeshua Sar Hafanim. So in this particular text, the Radziner Rebbe, Shlomo, I suppose, is Shmuel Shlomo Lehner, who died in 1942 in the Holocaust, has got this this reference to Jesus, Yeshua Sar Hafanim, Jesus, the Prince of the Presence. And I thought I would just bring it up to your attention so you can see it and then translate it and then talk about it. So let's just go through a little bit of background to this text first. So I'll share the screen for those of you who are sincerely interested in the Jewish Messiah, since not everybody is. Even if they claim to be interested in Jesus, they're not really. So let's get the background first. So here we have just a Wikipedia article on the Radziner Rebbes. Izbice Radzin is the name of the town in Poland today, and it's the origin of the Hasidic dynasty, which comes from Kock Rebbes, which is also part of Poland. So the Radziner dynasty is here. They've got the points down here, and there's Shmuel Shlomo Lehner here, who died in 1942. So I think we need to just give a little bit of pay our respects to the Rebbe here. There's a picture of him here, and he's the one whose work we're looking at right now. So even though he died in the Holocaust, was murdered in the Holocaust, he passed on his legacy to his brother, who survived until 2005. 100 years old. He died at the age of 100 years old, did Rabbi Avraham Yisachar Englard, and he was in Boston, as far as I've understood. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what we've got here is Sod Yashar, is the text we're looking at, and Rabbi Shmuel Shlomo of Radzin gave instructions to his brother to head the network of the Radziner Reshivos, Sod Yesharim, and this is the text, which is called Sod Yesharim, which we're looking at here. Now, in the text, we've got, if for those of you who can read Hebrew, you should be familiar with this word by now. This is Yeshua. This is Jesus. Yeshua Sar Hafanim, Jesus, the Prince of the Presence. So there's a little bit of text here concerning Jesus, the Prince of the Presence, at the end of this part on Rosh Hashanah 95, section 95 on Rosh Hashanah. The very last part of Sod Yesharim's commentary on Rosh Hashanah, just before it starts Yom Kippur chapter 1. Okay, so it's Rosh Hashanah chapter 95, just before Yom Kippur chapter 1, and you've got this reference to Yeshua Sar Hafanim. So the text says, if you copy it and put it into the translation, which is not very good, but nevertheless it gets basically the point across. It says, and this is the matter of Jesus, the minister of the interior, who is reminded in the synagogue between the blasts, which means we say him on Rosh Hashanah between the trumpet blasts. We remember him between the trumpet blasts, and is hinted at from a verse that has been applied to God that we have yet to understand. And he gives the verses to explain this connection between Yeshua Sar Hafanim and God. So the verses he's talking about are Isaiah, talking about that the angel of his face saved them in all their troubles. The angel of the face saved them. And he also makes a reference to the Zohar, I believe. And also then at the end, which is again talking about the when Abraham saw a ram, that Isaac was saved by the angel of his presence again. And then finally, it is known that the ram hints at God, that that day he will blow a great trumpet, and so on. So the ram which replaced Isaac is a hint at, of course, hinting at God. Isaiah 53, he's making reference to there, and it's also a reference to the trumpet blasts. Hence, that's why we remember Yeshua Sar Hafanim between the two trumpet blasts on Rosh Hashanah, because we've been reminded of this. We're bringing to mind the very first the time that we are sort of spoke. We hear about the Prince of the Presence by that name, saving Isaac and providing the ram. So that's why we think about the ram at that time when we blow the shofar. And he's telling us more information about Yeshua Sar Hafanim here from the Bible. He's giving us some references, and one of the references he's talking about is it's not translated here very well, but it's here. The name is given here. It's a reference to the name of one of the names of God. This name for Yeshua Sar Hafanim is associated with God. So we have to find this word in the Bible, and you find this word very easily. Here it is. There is the phrase. It's in Psalm 42. Okay, so in Psalm 42, we've got this reference. In fact, it's quite interesting because the Yeshua's panim, fani, it's actually here. Fani is my face, and then fano is his face. But the exact letters appear here, and then we've got here and here, three references to the same thing. And if you look at the translations, you'll see the translation is almost the same. So what he's saying is that this reference, I can't highlight this, otherwise it'll open up something. So I'll just have to point it here. But this reference, this phrase, is hinting at God. That's what the Rebbe is trying to tell us. It is hinting at God, and it's a reference to Yeshua Sar Hafanim, which is what he's saying here. So we have this phrase which is hinting at God and the reference to Yeshua Sar Hafanim. Now the interesting thing is that this phrase, hinting at God and Yeshua Sar Hafanim, only occurs 3 times in the whole Bible. 3 again. So if it's reference to Yeshua Sar Hafanim, you can expect to see 3 popping up again and again, because as we know, in Judaism, the Messiah, Yeshua Sar Hafanim, is a tripartite being. So we've got these 3 references to him. So we're going to open up Psalm 42 and have a look at it. It's the King James Version there. And we've got the reference to him here, the translation here. It says, why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted in me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. The help of his countenance is here the phrase, the way they're translating the phrase. That's this one here. Yeshua Fano. Okay, the prince of the face is, or the help of his countenance is Yeshua Sar Hafanim. So that's what the Rebbe is sort of hinting at here. I hope you can catch what I'm getting at here. If you can't, please do write a comment asking me to clarify. So that's the first reference to him, and then the second reference is here at the end. Why? Again, it's almost the same phrase. You see here and here, it's almost exactly the same. It's repeated twice, and it's also repeated in the next psalm too. Why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted within me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him who is the health of my countenance and my God. So the Rebbe is saying that's what's being hinted at here. This is hinting at that the name Yeshua Sar Hafanim, the Prince of the Presence, it's got something to do with God. It's some part of God, or it's an element of God, as God is being hinted at here. That's what he's saying. So, and he says it's a passage which is yet to be understood. Remember that this Rebbe, of course, like all the really educated Jews who used to exist before the Holocaust turned this into the dregs at the bottom of the barrel, knew and believed in Yeshua Sar HaPanim as the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah. But of course, he doesn't recognize that Jesus of Nazareth is an appearance of Yeshua Sar HaPanim. So hence, he's saying we don't. There are still things about this that we don't know. That he says that this is a passage which is applied to God about Yeshua Sar HaPanim, which we mention in the synagogue between the blasts, and is hinted at in these verses of Isaiah, for example. This phrase is the phrase which is about Yeshua Sar HaPanim, the salvation from the face, and yet we still haven't understood it, because he doesn't believe in Jesus of Nazareth. He believes in Jewish Messiah, Jesus Christ, Yeshua Sar HaPanim, Yeshua HaMashiach, but doesn't believe that Jesus of Nazareth is Yeshua Sar HaPanim. So he's just teaching us about Yeshua Sar HaPanim as much as he knows, and so that's a lot. But it's not. He can't explain it because he doesn't have a belief in Jesus of Nazareth. So anyway, so we should definitely study the texts and the works of our great rabbis before the Holocaust as much as we can to find out more about our Messiah, Yeshua Sar HaPanim. I'm talking to all Jews, and of course people who believe that Jesus of Nazareth is the Messiah too. If you want to know more about the Jewish Messiah, then you really do need to study these things too. You're not going to learn it from church fathers. You're going to learn it from rabbis and from what we say Pharisees, as Jesus said, "Obey the Pharisees; they sit in the seat of Moses." So that's what you've got to do. So that's why we're looking at this passage, and it's a new passage to me. It's very interesting how much depth it goes into. So this phrase that he uses here, he's put it with that's here actually. He's put it with these little marks in because it's a name of God. It's a reference to a name of God as well as Yeshua Sar HaPanim, and so he's put these little marks in here to make it more respectful. And this phrase Yeshuot Thani only occurs in the Bible 3 times. In fact, with the ending Thani, my face, only occurs twice, and with the beginning Yeshuot only occurs once. But put them all together, and you've got the 3 occurrences: Psalm 42:5, Psalm 42:11, and Psalm 43:5. And so that's what we're looking at here. So let's go into the next passage then, Psalm 43, and look at verse 5 again.